Talking quarterbacks, are we? Some of you guys probably don't know who I am because I don't really put my videos out there. I don't really, my dog, crazy, barking at shadows. I don't really put my videos out there. I'm not really a part of the trash talking circle. I'm kind of out there on my own. I know some of the people on here watch my videos, but not too much, So, I see we're talking quarterbacks in the off season. We gotta do something into the off season, right? And be Big Daddy Caesar. Watch all his videos. One of the few people I'm subscribed to. In fact, I'm only subscribed to a handful of people. Very few people in this trash talking circle because I don't know too many of you guys. So if you want me to subscribe to you, just comment down here. I'll subscribe. I don't care who you root for. I don't care how you do it. For the most part, I'm up for it. Let's see. So, Big Daddy Caesar got his jersey in the mail. It's a nice jersey. Lettering looked a little big. I was a little suspicious, but I guess that's a style. I think it's a Reebok or something. I guess it's authentic, so that was pretty cool. Nice jersey. Still only have one myself, and, they're expensive, man. Anyway, he was showing off his jersey and just had to bring out the great quarterback debate, and I love debating things about football. It really is kind of what this whole thing is all about. So now he's kicked up some dust, stirring the pot a little bit about Tony Romo and Eli Manning, comparing them, and most any football fan knows the dust that gets kicked up when you talk about Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And I think Eli Manning and Tony Romo has a real good chance to become a player rivalry much like that. And when I say player rivalry, I'm talking about like Brett Favre with Warren Sapp. I think Babe Ruth with Mickey Mantle for a while, even though they were on the same team. I know there was somewhat of a rivalry there. Things like that. I'm sure there are others I just can't think of right now. Maybe even Joe Montana and Boomer Esiason, stuff like that. So, I love debates like this. And, what do you guys think? I know most of you guys have already voiced your opinion on Be Big Daddy Caesar's video or Mitos's video. He had one. So, where do you guys stand on the Eli Romo thing? It's, again, stats versus wins argument. And, in the Brady Manning argument, I do side with the Manning simply because I think his stats have been validated by the one ring he won. I mean, it's equivalent to the John Elway ring, which is basically, here's my championship, now shut the hell up and leave me alone. That kind of thing. To me, if you're gonna criticize a player for not winning a championship like Dan Marino or Patrick Ewing, that's fine. But you want to criticize somebody because they only won one? I just don't see it. I think if you can win one championship, that proves that you can. And the difference between winning one championship or 4 championships or anything like that, I think that's a reflection of how good your team is, how good other teams in the league are, and how lucky you got. But if a team is able to, if a player is able to get one championship in his lifetime, to me that proves that he is capable of winning a championship. So, take that as you will. Now but otherwise, basically I always go with stats over wins because I think stats will lead to wins. And if a player with better stats doesn't win as often as another player who gets less stats, it's probably not his fault. Like Dan Marino versus Brad Johnson. And there's no way I would take Dan Marino over every quarterback in the history of the league except 6 or 7 at most. Brad Johnson is definitely not one of those 6 or 7. Neither is Trent Dilfer or Doug Williams or anything like that. So I'll give you that. I agree with the Big Daddy Caesar there completely, and I think people get way too caught up into wins when they're talking about quarterbacks. Now, that being said, I look at Tony Romo, and he is, putting together a great career so far. He started a little late, so he's a little handicapped in that sense. He didn't get to start when he turned 21 or 22. He had to wait a couple of years, so that'll put him off the pace a little bit. But he came in last year pretty much out of nowhere and played some really good football. Excuse me. Did a hell of a job for Dallas coming in, filling in for Drew Bledsoe. But he has duds. Out of nowhere, for no particular reason, he'll throw up a dud. Like last year, in the second Giants game, he didn't play well. The Cowboys won, but he didn't play that well. He had a couple of picks, just wasn't really on his game. The game against New Orleans, I think it was. Yeah, New Orleans, his game just wasn't there. Second game against Philadelphia, dud. And against Detroit, he played pretty well, but he did fumble the ball 4 times. So, he puts up these huge numbers. He throws for a ton of yards. He makes great plays on the run. He makes plays with his feet. Does some really fantastic things in terms of getting away from pressure, but